In a world marked by fleeting trends and ever-changing fashions, there exists a space of enduring appeal, the sphere of old money aesthetics. Steeped in tradition and grace, this timeless elegance invites us to explore its mysterious depths. But what makes this aesthetic so fascinating? Is it simply traditions or the attempt at so many old money families to keep up appearances whilst not being as financially stable as they once were? Today we will decipher and dissect this captivating style. We will unravel the secrets concealed within its intricate design, attempting to understand the allure of heritage and extravagance. What then is the magic that keeps the charm of old money aesthetics forever timeless? Let's take a tour down memory lane to when rich folk passed their wealth down like mere mortals do our old sweaters. The concept of old money goes as far back as the Middle Ages, when the cool thing to have was titles and land. However, it wasn't until the Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment that the establishment started to refine their tastes somewhat, which signified the beginning of what we now appreciate as old money aesthetics. We all know that the aristocracy and people with a bit of money are well connected. I mean, as far back as you or I can remember, they have always hung out together. They tend to use these social interactions as a way of bouncing ideas and even behaviors off of each other. You might recall our recent video about the dollar princesses. These women were often traded to preserve a particular way of life, ensuring entry into the elite stratosphere of society. This is a prime example of how noble titles and ways of doing things have always intrigued us. Where aesthetics are concerned, it's always been about where these families have come from, their roots, how their ancestors did things, and a way of connecting the modern generation with the esteemed past from which they hail. This creates a sense of belonging. We only have to look at those hallowed family crests which high society families are so proud of. They're not simply pretty designs, they're stories which connect us to history. We all know that the past shapes the present, but old money aesthetics isn't simply about extravagance and looking the part. It's much more than that. It's about understanding why we still pine for the old ways in a world full of instant gratification. It's a way of appreciating the beauty of the traditions of yesteryear. Are you interested in strolling around the stylish world of upper-class fashion? Of course you are. Timeless elegance mixes with effortless chic in the walk-in closets of the super-rich, but don't be fooled into thinking it's all about the latest flashy trends. Think more of Kate Middleton than Kim Kardashian regarding the fashion choices of the uber-wealthy, a comparison hardly about to make the future queen grin from ear to ear. We're talking well-tailored suits for the gents, and timelessly elegant dresses for the ladies. And of course the fabrics are just as important. Cashmere, wool and silk are the order of the day, giving off a sophisticated vibe that new money individuals could only dream of. And don't forget those accessories. A solid accessory game ties together an outfit like nothing else can. High-quality leather belts, a subtle yet elegant wristwatch. Nothing too extravagant, and understated neck scarves are all considered standard. Brands such as Ralph Lauren, Loro Piana, Bruno Cucinelli, or Hermes can all be found on the hangers of country club changing rooms, known for their beautiful craftsmanship. These are brands only the jet-set crowd could get away with wearing. But don't be too downhearted if you still harbor desires of pulling off the imitation game. The old money look can undoubtedly be achieved even if you don't have those all-important zeros at the end of your bank balance. Vintage shops can be a goldmine for people hoping to score a big prize where the old look is concerned. Neutral colors will be your best friend. And don't worry too much about having a complete wardrobe. The aim of the game is style over substance, quality over quantity. A good start is a stylish, well-fitted blazer or a little black dress. However, pay attention to tailoring. This is a dead giveaway in high society, and remember, old money style is about the classic look that always goes in fashion. It's not about showing off wealth. There's an old English saying which goes, "An Englishman's home is his castle," and a glimpse around some of the homes of the aristocracy is proof of this. Elegance and sophistication, those markers of old money aesthetics we're all well aware of, are abundant in the homes of the nobility, where the charm of heritage and refinement is entirely on display. You won't find brash, outlandish colors in these abodes. Muted, neutral tones are king here, providing a serene backdrop for the rest of the space. Of course, these places are dripping in antique furniture, which again is a nod to the traditions their whole images are built upon. Every now and then you might encounter a slightly more contemporary appearance, but such changes are typically made after meticulous and even stringent evaluation. Where artwork is concerned, it must complement the room's color scheme. Silk drapes, velvet cushions, and the finest Persian rugs all adorn the drawing rooms of these fine establishments. The idea of all of this is to add a nuanced layer of elegance to the room without going overboard. Think more of Jay Gatsby than Jay-Z. Should you want to replicate this look yourself, you could do much worse than estate sales or thrift stores, where beautiful treasures are waiting to be discovered like a hidden pearl in a vast ocean. But remember, the idea is about celebrating the past through timeless designs, carefully selected antique furniture and fine art. So get ready to swoop down and seize those treasures when you see them, like a hawk who spotted a field mouse. One of the most essential aspects of old money aesthetics is social etiquette and manners. They serve as a playbook for life, a code of conduct, if you will. Should we find ourselves in the fortunate position of being asked to a high society dinner function, then we can forget everything we learned around our dinner tables growing up. Understanding why on earth we have 3 spoons, knives, and forks is paramount. And if you don't know, you can expect never to be invited back. The unspoken language used and when is essential around the dinner table, and just as important is what you choose to discuss. Talk of money and personal matters are taboo. Instead, we can expect to hear plenty of meaningful insights and chit-chat about cultural events and philanthropy. Addressing individuals by their titles and surnames is expected, and taking out a mobile phone is highly frowned upon. These traditional practices represent a time when dignity and respect were held above all else and must be respected. The host is also expected to provide an unforgettable experience for their guests, and things like wine selection, a welcoming atmosphere, fresh flowers, and even the decor are all of the utmost importance. The focus is on the comfort of the guests at all times, and consideration, as well as engaging connections, remain a timeless gesture of hospitality. Old money families have long been associated with rare and valuable collections, and we're not talking about your Pokémon card collection here. No, sir. Art, antiques, and rare items are all considered worthy investments, marking out a certain financial wisdom. But is the art of collecting and investing in tangible assets like art and antiques a timeless wealth-building strategy or an exclusive privilege of old money circles? And how can individuals from not-so-privileged backgrounds tap into this exclusive world? The answer to that is akin to the age-old "how long is a piece of string" question. But the significance of high society investing goes beyond mere aesthetics. It's about ensuring their future. We all know that tangible assets such as art and antiques are a safe bet. Most of these things appreciate in value, making them impervious to unpredictable events such as market volatility or recession. The upper classes are well aware of this and hedge their bets accordingly, more often than not creating even more wealth for future generations. Of course, it's not entirely beyond the realms of possibility for you or me to start a collection of our own. You just need to find your niche, a niche you are passionate about, be it watches, art, or classic cars. Head to your nearest auction center or reach out to experts in the field, but remember, diversification is key. You will never ever see a member of the gentry put all their eggs in one basket. Ask any member of the aristocracy how they balance tradition and modernity, and they will most likely tell you it's all a bit of a tightrope walk. In an ever-changing world, old money aesthetics are rich in value, but they must move with the times. Of course, it's a challenge, but some have seamlessly transitioned. Traditional high society families like the Rothschilds, a banking juggernaut, have embraced the shift to online banking, and high-end fashion houses can now all be found online. This shift proves that the values of the past can exist in harmony with the present. At the heart of it all is remembering core values. Many would suggest that embracing change means you must somehow compromise your principles, but this doesn't have to be true. Those who have been most successful at blending the past with the present have found a way to honor their traditions whilst at the same time being open to innovation. I mean, just looking at the Ford family, who are now embracing the idea of electric vehicles. Suppose these families can figure out a way to retain the essence of old money aesthetics whilst also being receptive and open to the needs of the modern world. In that case, their timeless elegance should live on for plenty more generations. The allure of old money aesthetics enriches lives with an elegant sense of history and grace. Be it through fashion, etiquette, interior design, or investment, the values of yesterday are still beaming through in today's fast-paced world. So, friends, how can high society keep its style as ageless as the Mona Lisa, but as adaptable as a chameleon at a fashion show? That is the question. Do you have the answer?